I loved Power Club.
Come with me if you want to live.
I loved Power Club.
No time for time travel.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Hello and welcome to the final episode of 2023, even though I said this like 2 episodes ago. Yeah, I think it will be. So my name is Tony, and joining me all the way from around the corner is Quoc.
Lurking. Hello.
Yes. We're a podcast for nerds by nerds. Of course, you guys probably, I don't know if there are new listeners, but you guys who have been listening, you already know who we are. Yeah, I don't know why I'm like starting this off really awkward. I usually don't. I'm probably still recovering. I don't know. But anyway, today's topic episode is actually just we are recapping like the biggest news items in entertainment, video games, and media, nerd media, in 2023. Because in a few days from this date, it will be the new year. So we're just recapping everything from 2023. Not everything, but you know the big news items. But yeah, before we do that, how have you been doing?
Good. We just had like the whole Christmas thing. I'm sure you were busy with your family, and I was busy with mine. And the listeners were probably busy doing their own thing as well. But it was, I would say, it was entertaining, at least for me. Because my nephew, he turned 13. He's like recently, so his birthday was like before Christmas, and then so I took him out and everything for his birthday. But then I told him, well, enjoy it, because it's like your last time you ever get any more presents, because you're no longer a kid, you're a teenager now. And then he was so skeptical. And then I brought it. I did it all the way until like Christmas. I got his like sister like a gift, but I didn't give him any gifts yet. I held it out for so long, and he was like so skeptical the whole time. And then I think he finally gave in, and that's when I finally reviewed it's okay. You still get one more present, but it was so good. I got his mom in on it as well, and I also got like the my other cousin in as well. So it's like, oh yeah, you're an adult now. You're a teenager now. You have to earn your stuff. And then the first thing he said, like, man, being a teenager suck. I'm
Wow.
like, yes, excellent.
Man, you played the long game on that one.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
I'm very consistent.
You know, that reminds me of this joke that this one comedian guy said, Hannibal Buress. He was just talking about like like how his he had like a really really young like nephew or something, and like he was like I'm gonna butcher the whole thing, but I'm just trying to give you like the quick gist of it. Is that basically he's working on the computer or something, and then the little kid like comes up and messes it up, and then like press everything on the keyboard, and then like and he's like, come on man, no, don't touch that, you can't type. And then he says that he has this fear that, like 18 years later, like one day he just like does something, and then he like wakes up and he sees his nephew standing there, and then he takes his hands and it crushes his fingers, and then his nephew says, "No man, you can't type." Yeah, so that reminded me of that. So the super long game.
Yeah, once he's an adult, I'm like, man, can't wait for him to get back at me. I have 5 years of sanity left.
Yeah. You should look up that guy, by the way, Hannibal Buress. He has some like pretty good comedy.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, so that's good. Yeah, I mean, for us, we didn't really do much because we were all like sick and just like recovering.
Okay.
Oh my gosh! So you know how I got COVID, and then I recovered. I got rebound COVID. Did I tell you that?
No. Wait,
So-
I think, is that what it's called? Rebound? COVID?
Yeah. So like after a week, so after 5 days, I started testing negative, which is fine. Symptoms go away.
Mhm.
And then like after like a week from the first time I got symptoms, I got sick again and tested positive again. And
Jeez.
it's not as severe usually. So I was fine. It was just like really annoying because it was like stuffy nose and, all that stuff. But my wife didn't get a rebound. So far, my kids didn't. But then my dad got rebound and my mom got rebound. So I'm like, is this a gene in my family that we just all get rebound COVID? So yeah, my dad texted me this morning showing my mom and dad's test, and they're both positive.
Oh, geez. So
Yeah.
is the symptom for rebound COVID worse or same?
Typically, it's supposed to be less. So rebound happens. They've been seeing it more with people who take the medication Paxlovid, and the way the Paxlovid works is that it decreases the ability for the virus to attach and replicate. Right. So by doing that, by reducing its ability to do that, then it kind of slowly dies off. So you kill that first like few days of the most infectious period, and then you're done with the med after 5 days. So
Mm.
rebound tends to occur. They're just theorizing this, that the medication doesn't fully get rid of all of it. So then there's a couple left, and then they can still latch on and replicate. So then you get rebound COVID. But by the time you get the rebound COVID, your body should have already developed some immunity so that you don't get severe disease. So that's all theorized, right? We don't know for sure, but that's what people think.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, so I mean, I tested negative again 2 days ago, and then I'm negative again today, so I'm pretty good now. I still have like weird post-nasal drip symptoms, but whatever, it's fine.
But will your kids get it?
No, because it's supposed to be the same virus, so I don't know. Like I tested one of my kids today, and she's still negative.
Okay, that's
So
good. Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, hopefully they get their mom's genes and don't have a rebound effect. So yeah,
Yes, yes. Find that wood to knock on.
right here.
That sounds pretty plastic to me.
It's wood. I think it's IKEA wood.
Yeah, that's like laminated. Laminated
Yeah.
fake wood.
It looks like real wood. It has like the striation of wood because they screwed up with the paint, so the paints are not really solid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Actually, I don't even know if this is IKEA or a mom and pop shop. Huh. Anyway, but yeah. You want to start talking about stuff?
Yes, let's start talking about it.
Okay.
The stuff.
There's and you and I talked about this earlier, but listeners, there's a ton of like negative things. So we're gonna try to like start off with the negative stuff, put a few positive things in there, but we're gonna try to end the episode with positive stuff. So yeah, we'll try to do that. But yeah, the first negative thing. Actually, I'm not gonna say negative or positive. I'll just tell you what the thing is, and we talk about it.
Yeah.
Just to get this out of the way, the biggest thing in the video game industry has been the layoffs. So 2023, massive layoffs everywhere. I mean, it's crazy. I don't know, like, much of the details about it. Like, you've been working in the industry. Has it really affected you, or what are your thoughts about it?
It definitely it has for me personally. It hasn't affected luckily, but it has affected like the industry in a way. Just because like I see more people looking for opportunities now, and just more of massive layouts on my LinkedIn and whatnot. So I get news of that in that sense. But also it's kind of weird because like in the States, I'm kind of expecting it, to be honest. It just happens like so often that it's like, okay, it's even though the job was supposed to be like secure and stable, it's always in quotations. But there's always like a day where it's like, oh, all of a sudden that stable job, you just lose it out of nowhere. And it's more of like, it could be more of like a political thing that's way above my pay grade. But what I do really enjoy about or seeing when this happened is just like the community in the animation or within the field. They really try to help each other out. So like if let's say somebody from like let's say I don't know Bethesda has like a massive layoffs or whatever, and it's a massive thing, then people from within the industry would be like, hey, I understand there's a whole bunch of industry and a whole bunch of job layoffs happening at the moment. We at blah 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 is having having openings for like these positions. Feel free to contact me for all of this. or like just other people within the industry would be like, hey, I know some people I could start networking with you about this certain situation. So feel free to reach out. So it becomes a lot more people within the industry lend out a helping hand. So I think that's like the definitely great thing that I see come out of it. Everything else is just more of on the higher ups thing that we have really no say or insight on. But yeah, that's how it kind of affects me in a sense. It's just like, okay, this the job market is a little bit unstable at the minute, where you might have a job one day, but you might not have it another, and those stable jobs, as in like salary and whatnot, they kind of rarely exist from what I've seen in terms of trends. Just because a lot of times it's about budget, and people don't have budget. Companies don't have budget for certain things, and so like it becomes more contract work or just like freelance. You work like 5 months here or like 2 weeks here, 3 weeks there, and you find it's like hopping from job to job. So it's always rough, especially during the holiday season when it's like busy and can be expensive with like all the family activities and buying gifts and whatnot. But I think with the new year coming about, it's going to be a lot more stable. Yeah, and I think now that the writer's strike is over, there's going to be more opportunities for sure. So I'm looking forward to next year to see how everything kind of pans out.
Yeah, that's interesting to hear from like, the perspective of someone that works in the industry. Because, for me, I'm just like from the outside looking in, and all I could see is like, oh crap, these layoffs are like affecting so many people. And from my end, right, I'm in the healthcare technology side. The layoffs were happening in there too. It just felt like this year, just like tons of layoffs were happening in industries that are not healthcare, like fully healthcare. Like the healthcare side itself hasn't been really majorly affected, but anything like technology side, anything like entertainment side, anything media side, video game side, like there's just been a lot of like layoffs and just overall like a negative feel in those industries. So yeah, I mean, like you, hoping 2024 is going to be better. I mean, yeah, like you said, it's really cool. I do see that too about the community coming together and helping people out. So like on LinkedIn, I see people like, oh, this company is gone now, but please, this whole staff here, everybody here has these experiences. Please help them out. And it's like super common on LinkedIn to see that kind of thing being shared, and just people supporting each other.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's kind of one of the cool thing that I kind of see, like the positive side of people, I guess. And it's kind of refreshing, even though like everything is like really isn't going really well economically, but there's still you can see like the humane side of things, and it's kind of like refreshing to just witness.
Yeah, yeah. And you mentioned earlier about the writer strike, which is actually on the list of things to talk about. So that's a good segue into, into the next thing, which was the big writer strike and actors strike during 2023, which another negative thing. It caused a lot of people to not have, they can't do their job, and they can't have because they're on strike, because they're part of the union. And then all those companies all those people who kind of violated the strike rules were then kind of like blacklisted, not really blacklisted, but shunned or something, something like that, right?
Well,
it's hard to say.
yeah, I don't know if like the exact wording for it, but yes.
Yeah. So I don't know. There's that. I mean, okay. And on a related note, because the other big thing that happened in this year was ChatGPT, which then meant AI, which meant everything AI, which meant writer strike, actor strike, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know. What are your comments and thoughts about all that?
I feel like we're in a very transitional stage with AI and like ChatGPT and stuff emerging. It's kind of like a new industry kind of, or yeah, like a somewhat new industry kind of just peeking its head out. And then some people are trying to take a whack at it and then try to introduce it to like the common workflow and whatnot. So we're in a very weird transition I feel like we have to sort things out, because I think in this previous year we talked a lot about like AI and Chat GPT stuff as well. And there's like opportunities for work, but there's also opportunities for I guess like people lose certain opportunities. But there's like no defined, what's the word I'm looking for? There's no defined like regulations or right way of doing things, with like how we talked about earlier this year about like AI stealing or taking like reference from like current artists and whatnot.
Yeah.
We have we don't know the legal workaround and how things work. We're still trying to figure things out. It's kind of like that very broad exaggeration, but it's like the prohibition sort of age, where it's like, oh, is this illegal? Is this bad? We're gonna ban this. We're gonna not ban this. That sort of thing. So
Yeah.
we're just trying to I think this is like a very transitional thing that we're trying to figure out, and hopefully we'll overcome it sooner rather than later. Because things are moving and I think like with technology, things moves very, very fast. So we just need to see how things, we just need to figure out how to adapt to things faster. That's pretty much it. That's what I think, at least.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, AI has its place. It does help me with like some of my day-to-day like workload, or managing tasks, or like help summarizing things. But it's, I don't know. I'm on the healthcare side. I would never trust AI, at least in its current form, to like do the actual full job of someone in healthcare, because there's just so many like nuances that a human person needs to have. For those decisions. So, but and then the whole point too about AI art. It's interesting because some of the AI art tools out there are actually, some of them will tell you like whatever you create is going to be yours to own, and you could do whatever you want with it as long as you follow the regulations. And it's like, what regulations?
Yeah.
Right. So like, because then like I have some AI art tools, and I'm a part of like this Facebook group of people who have the same tools, and they talk about making T-shirts with their AI tools, and I'm just like, is this appropriate? Like, is this like, we don't know the source, like, is it, who's the owner? It's just confusing, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I don't know.
and then earlier we were just talking, like you showed like memes of like the Home Alone thing, or not the Home Alone thing, the Starfield thing. And then we're just like, oh man, so is this like the future where we just use AI to just make memes for us, or customize meme of like certain art? Before we had to go to like what's that website
meme
for a whole
generator?
bunch? No, not meme generator, but like using a whole bunch of the clip art thingy. Yeah, instead of using those clip art thing, this is now like we have our own source of clip art. We don't have to use real people for that database.
It's funny because I have been creating memes with my art generator. I mean, it's like I purchased a one-time license for like $200 something because the purpose was using it for like my escape room, and then I've been using it for memes. I only used it for my escape room like 3 times, and then the rest of like the 20 plus times were just memes.
See, this is technology. I mean, this is like the current generation.
Yeah, it's fun though. It's really fun.
Yeah.
Like, so side topic was the place I work at is supposedly being acquired. They tell us it's a merger, but they're saying that it's being combined with another organization in San Diego. I think it's being acquired because of the new name of the organization will be the name of the San Diego place. So it's like that sounds like we're being acquired. But anyway, the logo that I work at is like a bear, and then the logo of the other place that's gonna be merging with us is a kite. So I've been using the art AI thing to like make some funny like combination of the two logos, which I mean, there's a proper way of like the bear flying the kite, and that's an appropriate logo. But some of my coworkers was like, oh, make it so that the bear is flying the kite in the air, but he's falling into the ground, and it's just being fearful of falling because he can't hold on to the kite. And I'm just like I'm just like putting that in, and it generates it, and it's so funny. And then there's another one where like, oh, make him run away from a kite that has a mouth and is chasing after it like a shark. So yeah, all those stuff come out like pretty well on the AI art stuff. So yeah. So using it for personal meme entertainment purposes.
It's funny.
Yeah. Worth it. Yeah. But yeah, you were mentioning earlier, while we were talking about AI, about the Starfield AI thing. We can jump into our next topic, which is about the Starfield game like flopping, and I have it on my list of topics as Starfield sucks, but 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 yeah, I haven't played Starfield, but I've seen a lot of people talk about how bad it is.
Yeah.
And then something that I was aware of that you sent me, just to remind the thing about like people complaining to Bethesda about Starfield. You want to like tell the listeners about the responses that Bethesda gave them?
Yeah. I think I'm just generalizing it, but like the main thing was they were saying like the planet were very plain and there was nothing to do, so it was kind of boring. Bethesda response was like, well, when people went to the moon back then, there was nothing up there as well, and so, but they didn't seem bored. So, so it's like doubling down on what it is, rather than
Yeah.
rather than trying to solve the issue at hand.
Yeah.
And then I was like, what the hell is this kind of? Wait, is this kind of like was it damage control? That doesn't really. It's like putting out a fire with oil.
I know. It's almost like it was answered with ChatGPT, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like ChatGPT would be
Nicer.
would be smarter and know how to reply to that.
Yeah. No, it was basically, to me, it came off as like, we're not boring, you're boring. Like,
Yeah. So
so
what are you talking about? It's great. It's based on realistic stuff.
yeah, you play games to escape reality though, so it's like, why would you like? It's so weird. It's such a weird way, but it was also in a way impossible to meet those expectations because Bethesda released like two major franchises that lasted for years and years, and this Starfield thing was supposed to be the next big one. Like previously it was Fallout and oh my gosh, what was the other one? The big one that they had? Super big. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot. Yeah, they're known for Fallout and something else. Sorry, listeners, you're gonna kill me right now, but what was
Oh, I
it?
know what you're talking about. I'm trying to remember. Elder Scroll? Was it
Yeah. Elder
Elder
Scrolls,
Scroll.
Skyrim. Yeah,
Skyrim. There you go.
yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. That was what I was thinking of. Yeah, so it's like, think about it. They re-released Skyrim so many years, and they kept releasing Fallout games. So this was supposed to be the next big thing. And just like everybody's just like, this game is boring. So
See,
yeah,
like I think the thing is, if they had handled it or decided to handle it kind of like how No Man's Sky did, things would
yeah,
people would have been like, okay, we'll wait, we'll see what happens. But then this is kind of like the whole Blizzard incident a while ago, where it's like, oh, you have phones, right?
yeah. Oh gosh,
Yeah.
need
So,
to tell you something about that offline too.
okay.
But yeah. Do you guys not have phones? um,
Yeah.
so it's almost like the guy who responded to those things didn't have any customer service experience, or they're
Yeah.
on their way out. I don't know. It was like, I feel like Bethesda should have had like a way to. So they're stuck, right? They're stuck in a weird spot. Either they respond by saying, "No, this is the game we intended to release, and this is our belief in it," right? And the other thing was, they could also respond in a way that No Man's Sky was, in which like, oh, we're still updating this. This is not the end goal yet. Which then puts them in another weird situation where like, why did you hype up this unfinished game?
Yeah.
So, which is what Mortal Kombat 1 did, which I hate. I'm still pissed off about that. But anyway, yeah. So that was the whole Starfield thing. I think I haven't checked Super Best Friends Video Game Sleepover stream lately, but I think David over there still plays the game on stream sometimes.
Okay.
I think so. I don't remember. So you guys check them out. Check Super Best Friends Video Game Sleepover on Twitch. So twitch.tv/SBFVGS. And he streams actually a lot of different games. So it's really fun. He's like really upbeat, and it's really entertaining just to watch. But yeah. So yeah. Okay, so that was Starfield. So what's the next thing? Let's see. I just mentioned Mortal Kombat 1, which leads to another topic I had, which is a crap ton of games having microtransaction hell. There's no positive in any of this, huh? It's just all negative right now.
Yeah. But I mean, to be fair, it's not even games at this point. It's more of anything software related, or actually just everything in general becomes more of a subscription base.
Yeah, it's been like that. It's everything is becoming a service, like a software as a service or games as a service.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, sure, it is what it is. Again, like there are certain types of video games that work well as a service, like those ongoing support type of games, right? Like the what's it called? No Man's Sky or Fortnite. Games like that have a long history of consistent content, and it makes sense to have the content and seasons and stories. What I don't like personally is like how fighting games have gotten into that as a service method. So Street Fighter 6 is like that. Mortal Kombat 1 is like that, where they're kind of forcing you into a games as a service mode. For example, Mortal Kombat 1, they have this single player mode called Invasions, and it's like an overworld map, like Super Mario World, and then you go through these different things and you fight people, and then there's like power-ups and all that stuff. It's like the most boring like mode I've ever played in a fighting game, but they're all in on it. So as a service, every season there's a new story and new game and whatever, and you got to purchase season pass to like get the next season, all of that stuff, right? And then all these unnecessary DLC, like holiday fatalities being sold as DLC, or when you and I talked about it a few episodes ago about like at what point would they put special moves as DLC? Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what the future brings for that with all the microtransaction stuff. Like, I don't know. I think it makes more sense in video games that are like action adventures, more story driven, like superhero games, right? Like superhero games that have like, big like events that happen where a bunch of people have to go on a common goal, right? It's like a team based thing. Like, I don't know if they did something like with the Avengers like that. I think they did, but the game, I think they're ending the server soon. But like superhero things and team up stuff, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I think I know what you mean. But I think for me as a gamer, I've always been like, I'm cool with microtransaction if it doesn't like affect the main content. Like what you were saying, like with like Street Fighter, like the characters were locked behind like DLC or microtransaction. I mean that's pretty bad because that's a part of the game. And then I would like it where if it's just like cosmetic stuff, like if let's say, sure, there's a holiday season skin for like Raiden or something where he's a Christmas light or something like that, like sure, yeah, you buy like $5 or I don't know, $10, whatever, however many, just to have him like a certain skin when you play as him. That's perfectly fine with me, and you still have like the base. It doesn't affect like the base game of it. Like unlocking stuff each season, that's a bit. I mean, for me personally, it's a bit questionable still. I mean, I'd rather like they just not do that, or they just have. I'm trying to think because I've never been a fan of microtransaction in general. Yeah. So it's just like the modernizing way of saying like this, but it's like your option works. It's like definitely like the lesser of the evil. I prefer like no evil.
Yeah,
but it's kind of funny because so I think yesterday or something I saw one of like the YouTube shorts, a random YouTube shorts about like this guy. He just goes around and he evaluates like the certain UI UX of just anything. For listeners who don't know, UI UX is just like user interface and user experience, how that feels, and then he would rate it, give a rating. And one of this thing was that he was checking out was a calculator. So it's like standard calculator at first. You press in the number, but if you press plus minus divide, a pop-up shows up and says this function is not available in the free version.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine just like a calculator with no like ability to add or plus or minus?
I know. It's just like, oh, here's the GUI, the graphical user interface. You can press things, but there's no function at all. You have to pay for it.
You could press numbers. You just can't do anything with it.
Yeah. You can't even clear it. That would be funny. Like, to clear it, you gotta pay.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's why when you talk about like microtransaction hell, I just like, man, that is so good that I just saw that recently.
Yeah. My gosh. Yeah, and I agree with you too about like it's the base gameplay. I don't want to have to pay for things that affect gameplay. Like that's the worst. Like I don't know. I mean, that becomes essentially pay to win, right?
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, let's move on to the next thing. What were we talking about? Superheroes. I mentioned that in that. So let's transition to superheroes. So actually, what's his name? Was it Judge Greg from the Rio Hero Talk podcast? And also John Layola, he kind of like chimed in too. They were talking about like the future of superhero movies, and I want to bring up like in 2023 some stuff that happened. So first of all, just to get this out of the way, you know Jonathan Majors, or have you heard of him?
No, I haven't.
So Jonathan Majors plays this character named Kang the Conqueror, and he was in multiple Marvel movies, and he was hailed to be the next big thing, right? Like he is supposed to be the next Thanos level threat, but multiverse style. He is supposed to go across the multiverse and conquer everything. He's played this character for a while now, but because of his allegations and now conviction of domestic violence, that right when the conviction came out and like it was like the court was done, Disney fired him immediately. So and then they also had to change the name of the future Avengers movies, which used to be Kang Dynasty, but now it's just called Avengers 5. So I think they're in a big reshuffling, but because they're like, oh crap, what do we do now? Because they put all their eggs in their basket of just this guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one thing. And then on top of that, it's just the superhero movies in general. There's been a lot of flops this year. Quantum
What was out
Mania.
this year? Oh, okay.
Yeah, Quantum Mania it flopped. Secret Invasion, the show, it flopped. The Flash, it flopped. Shazam 2, it flopped. What's that movie that just came out last week? That nobody really... Aquaman 2. Nobody really... It was called Aquaman 2, The Lost Kingdom. And of course, it was lost to everybody's like awareness. So it flopped. There's only a few good things. The Loki TV show was really good. The What If Season 2 is really good. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is really good. But The Marvels is interesting. The Marvels is actually not a bad movie. I enjoyed it, but it did really bad in the theaters. So it also got released in the middle of the writer's strike and actor's strike. So no promotion happened. So yeah. What do you think about all that whole vomit of like superhero news that I just told you about?
Oh, geez. I mean, I'm kind of curious because like when things actually start like when production actually start happening, because obviously the writer's strike happened this year, but I don't know like when writers issues happen in general. Like it might have been like in the background, like that we're not aware of for like a year or so already. But I don't know. Like I guess like with me, always like the superhero movies. It at some point it's not. It feels like it's becoming too many sequels in a sense, and I'm trying to figure out like what's next. Like I haven't seen Quantum Mania and the rest of it, so I can't really say more. But it feels very. What's the word I'm looking for? There's like a certain formula to it, like, almost a cookie cutter sort of thing. That you just lose at least like for me, it lose the appeal. Even though like a lot of like the cool stuff, like the background and whatnot, I'm always a fan of like the origin story. So the moment it becomes a sequel, it kind of loses its charm for me because like, oh, now is it going to be a movie of the day in life of this hero now, and then just throw some sort of villain. I don't watch. Yeah. I don't see. I don't read a lot of like the comic books to know more how it actually affected like the if how it's affected with the lore and whatnot. So like if it's just like a random character that they threw in just to have a character fight against another character.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the origin stories are always the most interesting part, and that's what's very difficult with these movies. Like they did find a formula for a while that worked, where like the reason why I think the early MCU was successful was because the sequels were not truly just sequels because they introduced new origins for side characters.
Yeah.
So it became still interesting. Like I think Iron Man 2 had more of like Black Widow, so it made it interesting to be like an origin of her almost. And I think like Captain America: The Winter Soldier was a sequel to Captain America, but it was the origin story of the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
So
it's like a segue into another character.
Yeah. So I think they had a good formula back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, lately it's been more difficult, and like there's a whole thing about Marvel fatigue, right? We talked about this. You know what's funny? I just went to our podcast and looked at the very first episode on May 18th, 2017, pilot episode, Marvel Fatigue. That was me and Lamb. First episode recording was about Marvel Fatigue. And it's funny that now we're talking about it again in 2023.
Man.
So, yeah. But, yeah, I don't know how we're going to move forward. What I did notice is that... this kind of segues into the next topic, but Marvel has announced already that the only movie in 2024 that they're releasing is Deadpool 3. So it sounds like there's a good movement forward because they're going to reduce quantity and probably focus on quality. So if they're putting their eggs all in the basket for Deadpool 3, then it should be good. But at the same time, they made the mistake of that with Jonathan Majors, putting all their eggs in the basket for him.
It's true.
So, yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, yeah, I don't know. And the DC movies, James Gunn's rebooting everything with the first, Superman Legacy. So he has this whole plan of like a new DC universe. So I'm hoping by him restarting it and then kind of being more on quality side, it gets better. And it's not like as boring as it is now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it's like inject some like uniqueness and fun and I don't know, just creativeness in it. So
yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens next year. I think definitely the Deadpool movie will be kind of interesting because there's been a lot of, I guess, tidbits on the internet going around with the return of Wolverine and whatnot.
Yep, and that's actually the next topic is the bunch of Deadpool 3 leaks.
Oh, okay. Well, let's segue into that then.
Yes. We're actually doing pretty good with segue topics right now. So
yeah, I'm glad I'm just blindly segueing from one topic to another.
Yeah, so this year had actually Ryan Reynolds was a little annoyed because they were trying to keep a lot of surprises for that movie, but then because they were filming in like a set that's kind of accessible for anyone, there were a lot of leaks. Yeah, like some leaks of like Sabretooth coming back, some leaks of like I think Toad from the Fox movie, and then Hugh Jackman coming back. That wasn't a leak. Like the leak was actually the costume itself. So did you see the costume for
Yeah. It's like the 90s costume.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome. It looks like pretty close to the cartoon. Yeah, so that leaked. And then the set that they were fighting on in the snow, there's a giant logo of like the 20th Century Fox studio, but it's like broken down and destroyed in the background. So it's like it's like them fighting each other in some kind of multiverse battle while the background has a big destroyed logo of Fox. And it's like super meta and super hilarious. So I'm like, okay, well that leaked, but that just gives me more confidence in this movie. Right? Like
it definitely feels more like a fan made, a movie made for fans.
Yeah. And it's still going to be rated R. You know, that's interesting too. It's still going to be rated R. It will still retain all that rated R stuff, but it will be the only MCU movie in 2024. So Disney is putting all their eggs in the basket for a rated R movie in their MCU.
Were the other MCU like rated R?
No, they were all like PG. The worst was PG-13, which was Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, because there was like some people beheaded, some people chopped in half, some people falling
Oh,
on spikes. But even that was like PG-13.
oh,
So yeah, so they're keeping a rated R with yeah, and then actually Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Chris Pratt dropped an F-bomb, and that was PG-13.
huh. The rating's becoming very questionable lately, huh?
Yeah, PG-13 allows you to drop one F-bomb, I think, or
Oh,
something like that,
one.
like a
Okay.
limited number. So, but it was funny and weird because when we were watching it, I was like, wait, did he just drop an F-bomb? Wait, did I hear correctly? Wait, this is an MCU movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like they're easing us into Deadpool. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, like with the Deadpool 3 leaks, it sucks. But at the same time, Ryan Reynolds had fun with it, and he like I don't know if you saw, but he posted a Twitter thing where he's like on Twitter he wrote, "I'm so disappointed in all the leaks, blah blah blah," and then he posted pictures, right?
Mhm.
But the pictures were of the same leaks, but he photoshopped more people in it. So he
This is just
so he had people like Steve Urkel in the background or Mickey Mouse holding a bag of money. You know? So yeah, he has fun with it, and it's entertaining. It's just like it gives me continued confidence in the Deadpool movies.
see. This is how you double down on things.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, thank you, Ryan Reynolds. Thank you for having him like still take the lead on the movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Uh, but yeah, I mean,
What was
speaking of,
their? Oh, sorry.
go
Go ahead.
ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna ask like, what was like the previously? What was the MCU schedule for 2014?
2024, you mean?
24. Sorry, 24.
I think there were like 2 or 3 movies. I don't remember the exact schedule, but
Okay.
they did have a lot of it changed recently because they were. I think was it what's his name? Bob Chapek, is that his name for Disney?
Mhm.
Um, he came back to his role or like whatever it was. He's like CEO or something like that. I can't remember, but he's some high level thing, and he had left the role, and then Marvel had a ton of these things come out, and then quality dropped, and all of that stuff, and he had to come back and be like, "Okay, guys, we need to increase quality." And it's weird. His statement publicly was, "We need more executives on the sets to control quality," which is like the weirdest thing to hear, right?
Yes. I don't. Yes.
Yeah,
It's like an oxymoron.
yeah. But he's blaming it on because there's so much free reign that the quality's been dropping. Um, so yeah, but he had to come back, do some reshuffling, and then next year is just one movie for MCU.
Has there been a lot of free reign? I feel like there's not.
Yeah, there's enough free reign. I think like WandaVision was like so completely free reign.
But that did good though, didn't
Yeah,
it? Yeah.
yeah, it did good. What else was free reign? She-Hulk had a bunch of free reign. It didn't do well.
Yeah.
She-Hulk had a bunch of free reign, but it didn't do well. What else was there? I think Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness had a pretty good amount of free reign because it felt like a Sam Raimi movie. Like it completely felt like it was done by Sam Raimi, which it was, but it felt more like a Sam Raimi horror movie than an actual MCU movie. Yeah. So I'm thinking that's there's some truth to that because with too much free reign, there's no direction,
Yeah.
which is also the big complaint about the current phase in Marvel is that there's no direction.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that kind of tied back down to like the transitional period thing that we were talking about, transitional year,
Yeah.
where we're just exploring and trying to see what works, what doesn't work, and then move forward from there, right?
Yeah. So that's that, I guess. Trying to stick to our segues. Speaking of Twitter, this year was when Elon Musk ran Twitter to the ground. He changed Twitter to the name X, laid off a bunch of people, made the team super small, and made the company lose millions of dollars in valuation. I don't have much else to say about that. Do you?
I mean, I rarely use the platform, so I don't really know. But well, I understand from the thing. I think I've been hearing from like both sides of things. where like one is like running to the ground, the other one is keeping it bare, but it's still functioning and it's less. I don't know what's the word I'm looking for.
Some more efficient process, I guess.
In a way, yeah. So it's kind of like I think one of the conversation that I heard somewhere was if the company still ran with by losing out on X amount of money, what was that money used before?
Oh yeah, I mean that's a good point.
It's not dead. If it's dead, I think like nobody would use X anymore. But I don't know. I don't know people who use it more often might have a better understanding of it than I do. But I'm just hearing from both sides of things, and that's what I heard at least.
Yeah, I think one of the dumb things I hate about it is that to do a two-factor authentication with your phone to log in, you have to pay a service fee now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So that kind of annoyed me. I'm not on Twitter as much as before. I'm just mostly on a small community on Discord now.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean Twitter I still post once in a while, and then there's like a lot of like alternatives that popped up, like Threads. But even then, Threads is like the most popular one, which is the alternative to Instagram, but looks like Twitter. But it's like whatever. Nobody's really like, I don't know. I go on there once in a while to see. There's not much postings. It's like whatever. It's like you think about Instagram. You think about your friends on Instagram. They're pretty much on Threads. That's the same kind of people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it just becomes the same kind of like it's Instagram but with like Twitter feeds now with no images. It's weird. It's like why have this? You know? Yeah. Because it's still owned by Facebook. So it's just like, well, why? Why does it exist? I don't know. Why anything?
Why anything?
Yeah. No, it's so funny because like going back to like my day job, when we're in the middle of like a bunch of projects and then like someone was like, well, if we're going to be merging, then why should we do this now? Can we just wait? And then someone was like, well, yeah, if we're merging, then instead of this project, like why should we work on this other project? And I'm like, well, if we're merging, why do anything? Because all of us are just like questionable in terms of are we staying?
Yeah. That's a sad truth. Sad.
Yeah. So like, well, come on, guys. Like, if just act like nothing happened, continue doing what we're getting paid for. Like, then yeah, that's fine. You can think about this on your own time, like me.
Yes, this own time.
Yes. It's I don't know. I honestly don't know what's going to happen. We're just waiting it out to see what happens for that.
Yeah, mergers are always like questionable. It's always good for one party, like mostly like the heads of stuff. But like, the people working it's always crap. Yeah.
I'm just like afraid of that situation where like we merge and then we'll shut you down. You know?
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
jeez. But it's so big though. Your company is so big.
Yeah, I mean it is, but we'll see. I don't know yet. Like we'll see. Because like if we can lose our name and it has so much history,
Yeah.
We can possibly be shut down. I don't know.
That's true.
We'll see. Yeah, I mean we are not for profit, so there's that.
That's
I don't know. Like I'm hoping celebrities will come save us.
true.
Because nonprofits tend to get donations from celebrities.
Oh man.
Yeah. But speaking of things shutting down, we can move into the next thing, which is E3 is finally dead again, but now for
Okay.
good. Yeah. So history, E3. 2019 was the last live E3. It was my first E3 ever and also my last ever. So 2019 ended up being the last live E3 forever, actually, because 2020 was virtual and then 2021 they tried to bring it back. 2022 they tried to bring it back. There was just no interest or not enough interest from companies. So then 2023 they finally announced they're fully shutting down for good. Kind of weird to just hear E3 is gone,
Wait, sorry, you got cut off for a bit. Can you say
Oh,
that?
sorry. I was saying it's weird to hear that E3 is finally gone.
Yeah. I feel like with the pandemic and with everything moving into more of a digital state, it's becoming there's like less interest in that kind of like convention.
Mhm.
Like aside from like the bigger convention like San Diego Comic Con, those one are more doesn't have yeah, I guess like those ones they're not as revolved around like the technological stuff like gaming where we
Mhm.
just where a lot of like the gaming stuff like with like the Game Choice Award we can just watch. It's about like just watching trailers and unveiling trailers.
Yeah,
That
I think part of it too because like were you like a reader of like Game Pro magazine and EGM and stuff?
no, I wasn't.
Oh, you weren't? Okay. Like me growing up, like I read those magazines a lot, the gaming magazines, and
Mhm.
E3 was that, mystical place of invite only, right? Like only
Mhm.
industry like experts and industry active people can be invited to E3.
Yeah.
That made it unique. That made it like special. And it's so like mystical and all that. Like people want to be at E3. At the same time, because it was industry only, it was kind of like the only venue where, retailers can kind of go there and then companies can advertise like, oh, this upcoming game. So then retailers can be like, okay, we're going to purchase these copies so we can sell it at our store. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, it's the hype machine. So,
It's true.
and when it went public, I think it was like a couple years before 2019, it became the public facing, so anyone can just go. It lost its magic a little bit because it became the thing of like, what's the point? Because now everybody sees it at the same time. So yeah, sure, the public can go, but I went, and I had this whole image in my head of like the mystical, magical E3.
Hmm.
And when I was there, it was like, that's cool. It's fine. But it wasn't like amazing, amazing,
Mm, yeah.
It kind of lost its charm in a way because it's like all the stuff that I heard at E3, I could have just heard at home.
Yeah.
All the stuff I've seen. Like, sure, there's a few collectibles here and there, but it just seems so accessible that it's like not even unique to be like, these are exclusives.
Mm,
Yeah, and in terms of like announcements, it's like all of these things are being live stream announced anyway, so it's no longer special. So I don't know. I feel like that partially kind of killed the interest, at least for why would companies like retailers go to E3 anymore when they
mhm.
could access this directly online?
Yeah.
And then other companies like Nintendo, Sony, like Nintendo has their own Nintendo Direct stuff, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And then Sony has their own Sony PlayStation Experience conference. They're all doing their own thing. So there's no reason for them to be at E3 anymore either.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it just looked like there was a pathway to see E3 go down, but it's just like weird to me to hear because E3 has been such a big part of gaming that it's just so weird to see it just die off.
Yeah. It's also like that whole. I feel like COVID played a big part of it because you said
Yeah, it did.
2019, right? That's like right before COVID.
Yeah.
So
2019 in fall, that was the final one, and then COVID hit in
yeah,
2020.
yeah, and I think that kind of made people like shift mindset and stuff as well as just in order to survive they had to do this and like the whole internet platform, like you said, like Nintendo probably had their own Nintendo Direct and had their own way of delivering the trailers through the I guess like through online and whatnot, along with other big companies. So it's just like, well, if everybody want their own thing and they didn't have time to wait around to just, they probably didn't have time to wait around. Just say like, all right, well, is E3 gonna do something? Because otherwise, we're gonna be the beck and mercy of like what they plan to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, it is kind of sad because I don't know when you were at E3, Tony. What did you? Was it outside only, or did you go inside? Did you try all this stuff out, or?
Yeah, it was at the LA Convention Center, and they took up the exhibit hall, and then
Mhm.
they took up some stuff on the outside of the exhibit hall. It was not like fully outdoor. Many of things were inside. Like
Nice.
inside, meaning that inside there's two insides, right? Inside there's like the lobbies,
Yeah.
and then inside the exhibit hall. So yeah, it was cool.
Was that? I don't remember. Was that what like they had like there was still somewhat a separation between like professionals or like people in the industry and people get access to certain areas, and then people who do not, or like the public will have access to this bigger area. that sort of thing?
No, I didn't see any separation.
Okay.
Everybody was everywhere.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I remember
Yeah,
like this indie side. They had a whole separate exhibit hall for just indie stuff. That was really
yeah.
cool.
I think that was like the probably the best part about E3. It's just like trying out the games,
Yeah.
and you just if you like games, then you just go there, you just try all the games, all the demos, see what's there, and then you build up hype from there. I feel like it still can work, but now that people kind of like went separate, or people as in bigger companies went their separate ways and develop their own thing, it's a bit tougher to do that again.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's kind of like interesting because it's kind of like a spiral effect, right? Because I mean spiral effect's not the word, but what's the word? Snowball effect.
Domino? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, domino effect, snowball effect. Well, it was like basically retailers not going there anymore, so companies are like, well, why? So we won't go either.
Yeah.
And so it just like got worse and worse. And then E3 is like, well, we got nobody.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's kind of
that's
sad.
bad.
I kind of agree with you. It's kind of like one of those things where it would be really cool to have, even if like it's with the public, because I feel like now it would be great because people can go and experience it themselves, sort of thing, and they get more publicity, and the event would I feel it would do really really well if it still kept going.
Yeah, but it's weird because it's like if they don't have the support, then it becomes the public's going to be like, well, what are we here for?
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, it becomes. I mean, there's other alternatives now. Like, what's it called? What's that? What's it called? The Penny Arcade Expo.
Yep.
Yeah, and they're done pretty well. I think this year's E3 was handled by the people who did Penny Arcade. I can't remember if that's correct or not, but I think I heard that somewhere. And then because people are like, even those people can't bring back E3, like something like that.
Oh,
So yeah. I remember like during the E3 2019, one of the big announcements, which was I was like, oh, is this the first AAA type of game for VR? It was like a unique, what's it called? It was pretty much like a new franchise, like a new IP. It was called, I think, like Stormland or something. Let me look it up. Stormland. You remember that at
no,
all?
not at all. Stormland.
Yeah, it was like action adventure. Yeah, it was for Oculus
Oh,
uniquely. Yeah.
was Oculus out already in 2019?
It was for Oculus Rift, not Oculus.
Oh,
Yeah, for the actual like
not
PC
the
type one.
Quest.
Yeah. So I remember that being announced, and it just seemed like, oh, that's cool. I wonder if this is going to be big. And I never heard of it again.
That
Yeah.
answered your question.
Yeah. Oh, it was developed by Insomniac. Cool, because that segues into the Insomniac hack. Did you hear about that?
No, not at all. What
Oh
happened?
my gosh, man! The Insomniac hack, like they were like ransomware people, and they just hacked. Let me just pull up some articles. It was like the biggest like hack ever. It goes beyond just the game. So sure, we know the timeline. Sure, we know like the future game releases. Sure, we know Wolverine. What's crazy is that the hack also leaked a playable build of the Wolverine game.
Oh, crap.
That's pretty bad. And then the worst thing is it leaked the information of over 400 Insomniac employees, all their personal
Jeez.
info. So all their personal info, I'm guessing social too, because that's part of like working at a company, right? Providing your social. So now they're on like identity watch. So
God.
it was just so crazy. It was like, I don't know. It was like 1.6 terabytes of data.
Oh, God. That's
So-
a lot.
Yeah. So it's like, dude, I don't know, you hackers, like, can you do something useful, like, hack corrupt like people or something like that instead of
Yeah.
like, just these video game companies. So I don't know. That was another big news from this year. It actually was just recent. So,
Insomniac is a subsidiary of Sony as well, right? Sony PlayStation.
is it? I don't remember. I know they're pretty big. I don't know if they're owned by Sony. Let me see. Yeah, they're you're right. Their owner is PlayStation Studios.
Okay. Because I remember like PlayStation, they're very strict about things like USB and whatnot because situation like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now it makes more sense. Like people can see why like you never, even though it seems like random, like nobody would. Why would you want to hack into it? But there's still people that do steal stuff, steal information, and it's not even just like with game stuff alone. It's just the employees as well, and that's the worst part.
Yeah, and it was like a ransomware attack. So I don't know. PSA for people: hey, if you guys have anyone asking you for your password, never give them your password. I mean, it sounds like obvious, but people can pose as IT, right, and just be like, "Oh, something wrong with your account. We need your password to access to fix it."
Yeah.
I could tell you from working with IT, IT will never ever ask for your password ever. There's no reason for them to. So if anything, they'll ask for your permission to remote in. If you have a legit IT person, yeah, but no one will ever ask for your password. So don't give it away ever. Yeah. And it's we deal with this in the healthcare side a lot too, because I work for a hospital and we get drills from IT about this. They'll send a fake email over that try to pose as someone that's trying to get our account information, or click here to reset your password. Don't click on links, man. Don't click on links. Don't click on links that you don't know. So yeah. I mean, do you get drills like that for your workplaces too?
I don't know about drills, but we do get like people to. We do get like reminders like, hey, be sure to just notify us if anything feels a little off. And then sometimes like we get something, and then people would flag it with like the IT and say, hey, is this spam or is it a real person? Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. So I got a text message from an unknown number a couple months ago, and this happened more than once, and it basically said, hey, it was nice to I'm just trying to reach out to like meet all the employees, so thanks so much for being great on the team and all that stuff. Here's my number, reach out to me if you ever have any questions, and I could get your help on something. I could get your assistance on something, right? And it was signed off with the name of the CEO of the hospital I work at, right? So I was like, what is this? And then I checked with my coworkers and my boss, and they're like, yeah, that number's not hers. So yeah, I mean, they even do that. They got my personal phone number and knows that I work for a company with this person as the CEO and posed as the CEO to try to like talk to me.
Oh, that's scary, man.
Yeah, it's not even like a public, like it's not like a LinkedIn message. It was actually a text message on my phone. So
dang.
Yeah, so they do crazy things like that. But yeah, anyway, since we were talking about Insomniac and then you said that they are owned by PlayStation, the next headline was actually the PlayStation Portal was released this year. Do you know what that is?
No, what's that?
PlayStation Portal is the handheld remote play device for the PS5. So it's basically looks like a Nintendo Switch, but it remote plays your PS5 to that device. Its primary purpose is to do that.
So is it specifically with only the PS5, or is it like all PlayStation?
No, it's just PS5.
Oh, they're really investing into the PS5.
It's just weird because they're investing into a remote play device.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what's weird about it? You have the PSP.
Yeah, but it's also the PSP is its own device. You could play its own games on it.
Right. Yeah.
But the PlayStation Portal is like a 300, I don't know, something dollars device where it can really only remote play.
Oh, gotcha. I was confusing like remote play for just playing stuff remotely as in the portable.
Oh no, it's almost like a cloud service. It's almost like cloud gaming, but remotely playing your own PS5.
Yeah.
So
just streaming your stuff onto the got it.
I can see a use case for that, but I wouldn't buy it for myself. I mean, it's just a lot of money.
It is. That's why it feels like very weird in a way because it's so niche. Because getting I don't know about now, but I mean, like getting a PS5 before was like really hard, and now you have exclusive stuff such as PSVR 2, and then now the Portal PlayStation Portal. It's like, man, it's cool they're investing into it, but it's a lot of stuff, a lot of money into one specific type of games.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, right? Because then Nintendo got the Switch, and then like, oh, portable. Oh, that's the big ending right now. And then like, PlayStation is like, oh yeah, that must be the big thing. Let's do our own for the PS5. But like,
Yeah.
almost feels like half-assing it, but making it more expensive.
Yeah. Because I mean, like we talked about like the portable games before, right? Or portable gaming, and then it's just like, well, Steam Deck could play like all the Steam or PlayStation or PC games. Nintendo Switch, it has like the Nintendo games, but it can also play like some like the old Super Nintendo, like the old ROMs, essentially the classic games as well. This one is just PlayStation 5. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you're not even gonna try to do like old PlayStation or anything like that?
Well, you could do your PlayStation cloud service, which you would pay for, like PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, that's true.
You could do that. So you can do that as long as you have internet connection. I think what like makes me bothered is the reliance on internet for it. So if you bring it out somewhere, you can't really do anything unless you have internet.
It's true. Yeah, no, that's very true.
Yeah. I wonder what Microsoft's going to do. You think they're going to do their own?
Probably. I feel like portable gaming is definitely like a new thing that people, not a new thing, but it's something that more people want to venture towards with the success of the Switch and whatnot. And then like now the Steam Deck, I don't see why not. More people will probably want to try it out, and then we have to wait a few years to see, I don't know, just different ways of doing things.
Yeah, I like Microsoft's line of like Surface laptops and tablets. So I'm hoping that if they do something like similar for like gaming, it would be in that kind of like Surface branding or design. It would look pretty good.
It's kind of funny. Like I'm like with the Xbox, I think we talked about it before. Like when it first came out, the advertising was horrible for the Xbox One X or just Xbox One or something like that.
Yeah. The naming of it, yeah.
Or not even naming, but it's just like I don't really remember. Like it's just like a whole bunch of executives saying like, "Oh, the experience will be so different and very ambiguous." Like,
I remember that. Yeah,
and I was like, that doesn't say anything. But at the same time, when you try it actually you see like the user experience was definitely very, very smooth and pretty nice.
Yeah. So I have an Xbox Series S. That's my first ever Xbox machine.
Yeah.
Now, when I booted it up and I was like loading the menu, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so much smoother and snappier than any PlayStation system I used.
Yeah.
For like just the main menu.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they did a really good job on the UI UX.
Yeah. Just the marketing sucked.
Yeah. Or that random, like the first Xbox, I think like they just randomly pulled the Rock in, and then like the Rock was like, oh, like this system is just like the Rock. It's the most electrifying thing in, so and so. Like, I was like, what the heck? Okay. Sure.
Yeah. But I'm kind of curious, like if they do make a portable one, I feel like it would be really successful just because Xbox is so big on it's essentially like a PC now, but with playing on your console, because you can play PC games and whatnot as well. So it has more opportunities, I think, with the games that you can play and more accessibility. So if they do make one, I feel like it will be done really well. They just need to market it really well and just sell it.
Yeah, I think so. Segueing into the next topic, Microsoft completes Activision Blizzard buyout. So yeah, now that they finished that, I'm scared that if they do release a portable, then they're just gonna make all those Activision Blizzard games exclusive to Microsoft.
Oh,
we lose out on the PlayStation and the Nintendo and stuff.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I feel like it. I don't know. It's questionable. I feel like they wouldn't.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Well, they did announce. Oh, no, never mind. That's a different game. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. We'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, with the whole I think there was like controversy about that with the Modern Warfare games, the Call of Duty games. So yeah, they just buy everything. Yeah, Microsoft buys everything. They bought Activision Blizzard. What else did they buy? They bought Rare, right?
Oh, they did buy Rare.
They bought tons of things. But yeah. Anyway, let's move on to the next thing. Speaking about companies that buy things, Disney announced some more future things, new Star Wars movies. a bunch of new Star Wars movies, a new Star Wars trilogy, a new Star Wars movie that rounds out the story of Ahsoka and the Mandalorian. Yeah, I personally am looking forward to this because I think Star Wars spin-offs are finally finding their footing. They're actually good now because they got the good people working on them. So, like Dave Filoni, he worked on him and oh my gosh, what is that guy's name? Jon Favreau. Both of them worked on The Mandalorian, and then Dave Filoni continued to work on Ahsoka. And those shows have been really, really good. And they're giving him the reins of doing a movie to like kind of round things out to like complete his stuff. And then they are bringing back Daisy Ridley from the new trilogy to make another trilogy focused on her. So I don't know. I think it will be good. Have you watched any of them?
No. The most I've watched was just like the what you call it, Vision,
Okay.
the anthology version of things.
Mhm.
I've only seen like a few episodes of those, and those look really cool. Funny enough, I think I told you before, like my dad watched more Star Wars than I have. Like he watched
Yeah.
he watched everything, including like all like the TV series and whatnot. And so then like he would tell me about the lore. I'm like, oh.
He has become your Star Wars encyclopedia.
yeah, pretty much. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I was not expecting it, so it was kind of cool to hear.
Yeah.
that
Well,
he's
that's
taking interest into it.
Didn't he also watch One Piece?
He did. He watched One Piece in live action,
Mhm.
and then I think he enjoyed it.
Maybe
Yeah.
have him watch the Yu Yu Hakusho and then see if he likes it.
Did you watch it yet, Tony?
No, I haven't yet. I haven't had time.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to watch that, to be honest.
I don't know if it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I still don't trust adaptations.
as you should. So, there's a few more headings from this 2023 year. I'll just run through the headings. We might not have time to talk about it, but
Sure.
we already talked about that whole issue with the game the day before. Grand Theft Auto 6 was finally announced. Barbenheimer, when the Barbie movie got released and then Oppenheimer got released and they dominated box office, they were both dubbed as Barbenheimer. Yeah. And basically, that's most of the headlines. And then I wanted to end on a positive note, which actually Barbenheimer kind of segues into it because that was also during the same time or close to the same time as the Super Mario Brothers movie. So Super Mario has had a really great resurgence this year. Part of the sad news is that Charles Martinet, the main voice of Super Mario, he said he's retiring his voice. But Nintendo is keeping him on as the Super Mario ambassador. So that's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so now he's just promoting Super Mario. And then, of course, Super Mario World, the theme park, got opened up and it was like super busy in Universal Studios in LA.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Super Mario Bros. The movie. So, yeah, those are all the positive notes. Did you watch the movie?
Yeah, I did. It was really good. It was better than I was expecting.
Yeah, I think I was expecting to hate Chris Pratt, but I ended up not hating him. I'm not gonna say like, but I ended up not hating him. So yeah, I can't wait for them to start with this whole like Nintendo universe and at some point do the Super Smash Bros. Because they announced. Oh yeah, the other announcement was they're doing a live action Zelda movie.
Ooh.
Yeah, Hiro Miyamoto said he's going to be heavily involved, just like he was with the Super Mario movie. So the thought of him heavily involved gives me some confidence, but live action adaptations aren't the best.
Yeah, I rather. Why can't I just be like animated?
I mean, some people want that live action feel, right?
No, I know. I understand. It's like, man, it's gonna be a hard sell. I would think.
It's going to be Lord of the Rings with Legolas.
It's true, but with only one person.
With a Legolas that doesn't talk. Like that's pretty much what's going to be.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah, how are they going to do it with like the main character not talking ever?
Well, they probably won't do that, but they might have like the fairy do all the talking.
Maybe because like with the Halo show, Master Chief, he took his helmet off pretty quickly in the show, which was like, well, why'd you do this? This kind of destroyed the purpose. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
we'll
know.
see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I am excited for it because it's a long time coming for like a Zelda movie.
That's true.
So yeah, I think that's everything. I think that's all the headlines I had. Did you have anything?
No, that's a lot, dude. That's a lot of stuff. You told me there was gonna be some.
Oh.
Well, you told me there's gonna be a lot, but I didn't expect this much.
Yeah. So actually, one more thing from Taco Douglas from Super Best Friend Video Game Sleepover. He told us to toss out all the topics and talk about Lies of P the entire episode. So here's us talking about Lies of P. Do you know anything about the game?
No. The first thing I thought was like, oh, is it like Life of Pi with P?
It was nominated for one of the awards.
Yeah.
Last time I talked about it. But yeah, I know nothing about it either. So Taco Douglas, Mike Lopez, that's our discussion about it. You have fun with it though. I know you like it, so you have fun with it. All right, man. That was like what, almost 90 minutes of recording.
Yeah.
Well, do you have anything else?
No, not at all. I have a question for you, Tony.
Sure.
Do you think this will be the final episode before for the end of the year?
I think so, because there's only a few more days. I don't think there's anything else to record.
I can't wait until like after we finish the session. It's like, oh wait, addendum.
No, I think we're good. The only thing is that if someone else like messages us like, "Hey, can you talk about this?" And like, I don't know.
Then the answer is no, because we already said no.
Yeah. No, sorry guys.
Well, you have to wait until next year, which is in a few days.
Yep. I was supposed to record with Lamb about his Japan trip, but
He went to Japan. Nice.
Yeah, he went to Japan. He just came back a couple weeks ago.
Oh, is he jet lagged, I guess?
Yeah, he's been messaging me about recommendations on jet lag.
On how to get rid of it?
Yep.
Oh.
No, he was messaging me on how to get jet lag.
Yeah, it's like, I want it. I want to experience the jet lag.
Gosh, no, it's terrible. All right, well, no time for time travel. Hopefully, this is the last time we sign off in 2023. Signing off, Herdiger and More Speed. See ya.
Bye-bye.
I loved Power Glove.
Come with me if you want to live.
I loved Power Glove.
No time for time travel.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!